Hello, everyone. Anything to anybody?
Hello. Is you make a theory, and it's kind of like a strangle, in that what you're doing is you're making a bet that Coinbase is either going to pump or it's going to dump. Okay. Now, I have the chart up. So if we just look, if Bitcoin goes back to 50 grand, right? Or 40 grand, then it's possible that Coinbase could sell off and it could get down to possibly back on the 13th of February, it hit a low of 137 before it bounced. And back on the beginning of February, it got down to 117, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was I put in a couple orders, one for the end of March. Do you have your Fidelity system up?
Yeah.
If you enter an order for coin, okay, a four-legged order, and I'll show you an example of what I did. You tell me when you have four legs, and I'll tell you what to do.
Well, you're saying, you went out to March. Got it.
Yeah, March 22nd
March.
to be example. Basically, what you want to create is you want to create two buy to open puts and two sell to open puts for four legs.
Wow.
Well, no, it's not that complicated. I'll walk through it. To make it easier for you, what you want to do is do a buy to open, sell to open, buy to open in that order. Can you do that?
Yeah, but at what strike price?
No, just set them up this way. We'll do through one step at a time.
Yep, got it. So I got a buy to open at 175, a sell to open at 165.
Now this is called
22.
This arrangement, these two legs, this is called a vertical debit put. And it's called,
Mm-hmm.
it's a vertical put because you're picking the same expiration with two legs.
Yeah, I understand that. I was going to say it's a vertical of some sort. Yep.
And it's a debit. It's called a debit put because you're paying premium, not collecting.
I understand that.
A vertical credit would be they're paying you.
I get that. Yeah, it's like when we used to sell puts, right? Well, not quite, but
well, no, it is very similar. Very similar.
Oh, similar. Yeah, they would credit our account with the premium initially, right?
Like if you're bullish on Coinbase, this is a way you can make money. Is you can sell the 175 put. So what does that mean? It means that your best case scenario, if Coinbase stays above 175, Dan, you collect $1.60. If Coinbase drops below 175, okay, or let me rephrase that. If Coinbase drops below 165, you're going to lose 1,000 minus the 160 you collected.
Oh, so 840.
Yeah, but it's not an unlimited loss. Like this is basically a covered or protected put, or the other way around.
Yep.
Now the negative is
my credit's $1.30. It says, by the way.
Okay.
Estimated credit.
Fine. The bottom line is you know this now. There's either you pay for insurance or you take the full risk, right? So it's a way to sell, and it's also a way to basically scalp. So what I'm showing you is so if you switch it back to a buy on a 175 and a sell on a 165,
Mhm.
Now you want to enter a third leg, and you want to sell a 160 put on the third leg.
Yeah.
Are you familiar
Yeah.
with butterflies? Okay.
Never done 'em.
Well, let's just do this, and then I'll reverse this into a butterfly.
So those are 2 legs. You construct 4 legs on this thing. When you construct 4 legs, what the hell do you call that?
It's like a modified butterfly condor. All the butterfly. The reason I started this, the reason I even got into the bull thing is a butterfly simply is 2 different legs, Dan. You've got a vertical debit spread and a vertical credit spread. And usually a butterfly always uses these 2 legs as the same strike. So it forms 3 legs, basically. You see it? Hence the butterfly.
Yeah.
Okay. So in our example right here, if we wanted to make a butterfly, I would go 175, 165, and then 165, 155, and make a butterfly. What I have found with my experience doing these things is a butterfly. The downside of a butterfly, it's cost me money, is if it moves into your range, you can't sell one leg easily and not sell the other leg. And so what happens is, okay, on that leg that you entered in your computer, 175, 165, if you just entered that, what's your maximum right now? That leg that you just have in your computer right now, there's 2 legs. How much money if Coinbase closed at 160 on March 22nd? How much would you make?
Well, let's put it this way. It says my maximum loss is 177. My max gain is 823. So that's a 4 to 1.
Well, not counting in the Fidelity. That's a good feature on Fidelity, because what that feature does is it makes sure that you're entering it with a balanced order. Because I've actually been moving so quickly, I accidentally enter the second leg with the wrong strike, and Fidelity would be like, your maximum gain is this, and your maximum loss is this, and it's like $1 million or whatever, and I'm like, it's because I was moving too quickly. So it's a nice safety feature.
But you know what's interesting? When you had me reverse them, when you had me on the 175 go sell to open and then buy to open on the 165, the max loss was about 4 to 5 times bigger than the max gain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because like we said, what happens when First Majestic fell to $11 and you're holding a $15 put?
Yeah.
That's all out of your pocket, baby.
Tell me about it.
Yeah. Well, if we had done what was on your computer screen, we would have lost money, but we would have only lost that maximum on that system. So if Coinbase
I totally
goes,
get that. It's almost like it's a stopgap. It's almost like a stop loss in a way.
It's a hedge.
It's a hedge.
So
which maximizes.
This is how the pros enter all their orders. This is how they enter them. Because what we talk about, they look at what is the most I'm going to lose.
They go into thinking right away, what's the most I'm going to lose? What am I comfortable with?
And this gives you a very defined, what your upside is and what your downside is with this trade right in front of you. That's it.
That's true. So if I enter this the way it is right now, which gives me a 4 to 1 win versus loss, which is pretty good. If I take 823, that is upside, maximum gain,
No, yeah,
divided
okay.
by
Go
divided
ahead.
by maximum loss of 177, dude, that's a 4.65 to 1.
I understand
Gain
that.
versus loss. That's
And
almost 5 to 1.
yeah, and I'm going to show you how to
That's a
make
good
that.
trade.
I'm going to show you how to even make it even better.
Okay. Add another leg, 2 legs.
Yeah. So what we're doing is that is the vertical debit part. You have to pay. You're paying. See, so what we're doing is this is going to be a bearish trade. This is going to be a short on Coinbase in essence. We're betting that if Coinbase goes down to basically if it goes below 175, we're going to start making some money. That's what we're betting.
It says my break even on this is 173.23. So it's got to go below 173.23 for me to start making money.
Well, no, that's if you hold it till expiration.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
Okay. So now the reason I explained a butterfly is because a butterfly. So let's enter that for shits and giggles. We'll do this. Enter a third leg. Okay. And put a buy to open for 155.
Expiration the same.
Yep.
Strike
Same expiration.
Strike is 155.
Yep.
And this is it's
a butterfly.
A put. It's a put.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. But what you're going to do now is that second line for the sell to open, you're going to make it a quantity of 2. The buy to open, you're going to have 1 and 1, but the sell to open, you're going to make the 165 line, you're going to make 2, quantity of 2.
Okay, so my first leg is a buy to open at 175, quantity of 1.
Yep.
Second leg is sell to open at 165, quantity of 1.
No, you want quantity of 2.
Now you're saying make it a quantity of 2.
Correct.
And my third leg is a buy to open, quantity of 1.
155.
At 155.
So you should have 3 legs.
I do.
Remember I was saying a butterfly is 3 legs?
Yes. You said it was like this.
Yeah, 3 legs. So this is 175. This is 160. This is 2 legs of 165. See him?
Mm-hmm.
And then this is the 155. So very important.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Very important to remember. You want a symmetrical butterfly because if Coinbase goes to 100, you only lose your premium on a symmetrical butterfly. If I have one butterfly larger than the other, it increases my gain potential, but it also, if it goes against me, increases my losses. And we'll play with that in a second. So you'll see
what's interesting?
Your profit and loss changed. Your profit and loss changed.
Big time. What I was going to say is, this is interesting. It says the max gain is $955.
Mm-hmm.
The max loss
Mm-hmm.
is only $45.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 21 to 1 ratio.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's why I call them cruise missiles.
Yeah, and the other thing is what's interesting, instead of just one discrete number for a break-even point, it gives me a range of break-even between 155.45 to 174.55. Gives me a range for the break-even.
Yes.
Which makes sense, I guess. Well, because on your upper edge, upper range, you've got the 175, and on the other one, on the other range, you've got the 155, right?
Well, The 175 to 165 gives you a max potential of $1,000 gain. The other side, 165 to 155, gives you a max loss of 1,000. If it finishes, so if it closes at 175, okay, that's at one extreme of the butterfly, which is basically almost zero premium. If it finishes at 165, we make the $1,000 because I get the full $1,000 of that 175 to 165 move.
Yeah.
And I get none of the loss on the 165 to 155. But if it closes at 160, now I get the full gain of the 1,000. The 17. Look at it. If it closes at 160 on March 22nd, that 175, 165 leg is fully exercised. I get that $1,000. Boom, right in my pocket.
Right.
But I also have to pay $500 to close out the other leg because the half of it was exercised, the 165.
No, I get it. Yeah. So basically, the way this is set up is, it's going to give you a max gain and a max loss, and
Yeah. What
you're
I
going to have
found,
to pay to close one out. You're going to hopefully your gain is going to be bigger than your loss, so that ultimately you make money, right?
Well, no. You see, the beautiful thing about a butterfly, Dan, is you will never lose your shirt on a butterfly. You can't. Right. You know what your loss is. Your maximum loss is right on the screen in front of you, $55.
No, I get it. You're right. By sheer virtue of utilizing this structure, you've designed the house to trade this way. I get it.
This is if you want to minimize, because the other thing that I've learned over time using this method is the only way that you hit a home run with a butterfly is if it's like, what are the chances Coinbase is going to finish at 165 on March 22nd? Good luck. That's like throwing a dart at a dartboard 100 feet away.
Well, it does have a gap at around 166, 167.
No, I'm saying that for you to make this trade thinking it's going to close at that number, that would be the wrong reason. What you're doing is the way that this works is you're capturing a move with a butterfly. You're making a bet. This is why I told you the way I use these is I look at the chart and I'm like, I don't know the future, but Coinbase could make a huge move this way, or it could go this way. And then I put butterflies on both sides because they're so cheap.
Right.
They're so cheap.
And what it does is it also gives you, in a way, doing this a bigger footprint to have the ability to capture something. That's how I see it, right? Because you're kind of spread a little bit versus kind of like going in like that.
Yep. And realistically, if you can get 4 times your money, 4 times your premium, that's a realistic expectation. But many times you'll get 1-to-1. 1-to-1. So you may only get $55 to $200 is really what you can expect. But that's why it's a safe trade.
Yeah.
So what you do is if you wanted more exposure, you'd go 5 contracts, right?
Right. So in other words, the quantity, if we made that,
go ahead, put it in
5.
Put it in.
Well, yeah, but likewise, with the quantity of 2 currently, you'd have to make that 10.
No, it will automatically change if you change the top line. Because I think Fidelity's already identified this as a butterfly, probably. Up at the top, it will say butterfly.
No, it hasn't. I have to change.
But if you change the 175 line to 2, then the second line should change to 4 automatically.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's day off on Sunday.
Well, yeah.
So
I got you.
Yeah, it's always 2 legs in the middle for a butterfly. Okay. So now I'm going to really blow your mind. Okay. All right. So basically, I want you to close out leg 3, the 155. Close that. Hit the garbage can next to the right side. Close that leg.
The 155.
Correct.
Got it. It's gone.
Okay. Change the other 2 to quantities of 1.
Both of them quantity of 1. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. Leg 3, same strike. I'm sorry, same expiration date, 22nd. This time I want you to enter a 160 put. Sell to open. Leg 3. Sell to open. Quantity of 1.
Got it. Got it.
And then leg 4, you're going to make it a 150 put, buy to open.
$150 put, quantity of 1.
Yep.
Buy to open.
Now this is a modified butterfly. Why am I saying that?
Well, because it's not totally symmetrical, basically, right?
Well, it is symmetrical.
Oh,
I have 10 on one side and 10 on the other.
Yeah, you do. That's right. 65 to 75, 60.
The only thing was I offset the middle leg of the butter. So this is the butterfly, right? This is the butterfly.
You're right. You're right. You're right. The middle leg is usually the same number.
It's like this, right? Butterfly is this. I went like this. I put a gap in there.
I understand that. Yeah, good.
The reason I put a gap in there is because when this sucker starts falling, like this just happened to me in Tesla, I put in butterflies on Tesla, and when Tesla dropped, I couldn't get out of my butterflies at the price I wanted. They were screwing me on premium. So if I had used this modification instead, I would have been able to close one leg because, as you know, Dan, as the IV changes and as the deltas change when the price falls, if I had 2 contracts of 165, the delta is going to be the same. Premiums are going to be the same. But because I now spread it, I put a gap in between them. Now there's two advantages. Number one, I could theoretically close out the upper leg. Yeah, it means that the lower leg is going to decay separately than the upper leg. And
no, I get that with the gap because you've created that split. They're not joined. Basically.
It means you end up paying more money. But I've found, but now
you do. But yeah, you do because not to interrupt. Sorry. What I ran it while we were talking. 908 is the max gain versus $92 is the max loss. That's a 9.86, a 10-to-1 ratio versus 21-to-1.
But I have found that you will get more premium at expiration or when you close this.
Oh, I see what you mean. Got it.
Yeah. Yep.
I see what you mean. And what's interesting about this is,
but it also is a very inexpensive way. I mean, you don't lose a lot of money on this trade. If Coinbase fell off the table and went to $100, you wouldn't lose your shirt.
The estimated debit on this is just $94.60, $95 it would cost me.
So if this trade, like if Coinbase never falls down to this number, and that's why I call it a cruise missile, or we could say in today it's a drone, right? One of these drones, an inexpensive way, if you want to call $94 inexpensive, but compared to the premiums on these things, it is cheap.
It is.
Now, if you wanted,
Actually, I just took yeah.
so there's really
Hold on one sec. I just took a screenshot. I
What?
just took a screenshot of this so I can save it. So what do you call this? A modified butterfly, or what do you call this? Since it doesn't have the join, the gaps in there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a custom butterfly, modified. I'm sure it's similar to an iron condor, a condor. It could. I think they might call it a condor, modified condor, because a condor and a butterfly are similar.
I'm going to call it a unjoined butterfly. Got a gap.
Yeah, gap butterfly.
I'll say unjoined butterfly, just in layman terms, with a gap, right? That's what it is.
As long as you understand what it's doing, you can call it anything you want.
Conceptually, yeah, no, I get it. Conceptually is the key. I get it, but this will help me at first, just to, you know what I mean.
But this is also, dude. This is also, now. Here's the thing I want to say while I'm thinking about it. This works best when stocks are not moving 50 or $100 in a day, because you're putting out a net. The stock will run this over.
I was going to say, when it's moving crazy amounts, like supercomputers been moving lately, this could blow way past your
you would put this, I mean, this is you would put this like, let's say that like Coinbase, we say it's going to 300. You would place it at 300 now, and you would have to monitor it. And then when Coinbase started moving up there, like you'd enter this trade saying, okay, I'm going to bet $100 with the possibility of making 1,000 or 500.
Yeah.
Now, I would not pay, I would actually pay a lot less. See, what I do is I would take this order if I paid $10 for this, Dan. $10. Maybe $20.
Oh, for the debit, ultimate debit. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I do is I enter it for the price. I don't enter it on what they're putting it in for, because, the other thing is when stocks start moving, they're trying to fill all these orders, and the premiums are all over the place. If you ever watch it, the premium will go from 5, 6, 4, 2, 5, 2, 6, 2, 5. So when you start putting together these combination of 4 legs, like for example, call up on your Fidelity system, Dan. Call up Avgo, AVGO.
Okay.
And I'm going to have you enter this order, and then you tell me what Fidelity's telling you is the cost of this. You tell me when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, it's going to be 4 legs again, just like we did. It's going to be April 12th. And it's going to be a 12. You're going to buy to open a 1,200 put.
Strike is 1,200. Got it.
Okay, leg 2. You tell me what's leg 2 going to be for structure.
Yeah, it's going to be a sell to open.
Yep. And use 1185.
Same expiration. Hold on. What the hell is the expiration? 412.
Yep.
Strike is
1185.
I don't know why you're choosing 1185, but I'll take your word for it.
Well, I've already, this is an order I already filled.
Okay. Got it. And so if I'm doing a butterfly, then I'm going to add 2 more legs.
Well, yeah, a true butterfly would be 1 more leg, but our modified butterfly, it's going to be, so the next leg is going to be 1180.
That's a buy to open?
No.
I mean, sell to open, sorry. Quantity of 1.
And you tell me what you think the last leg should be.
1180.
No, I gave you 1180 as the 3rd leg.
Yeah, I know that.
What's the 4th leg?
1180. Oh, okay, I get it. The spread. So the fourth leg needs to be 1165.
Bingo.
Okay, 1165. Got it.
What else? Is it a buy or sell?
Hold on. Exactly. Let me get to the 1165 first. What the hell is it? Here it is. Okay, so this is going to be a buy to open.
Yep. Just remember this. The outer legs are the same. The inner legs are the same. Two outer legs are either buy or sell. Whatever the outer legs are, the inner legs are the opposite.
I'm going to take a screenshot of this anyway, but I need to conceptually remember that. So this is interesting. So max gain.
Well, just remember, all you're doing. Remember, all you're doing is you're saying it's plus 15 minus 15. That's all that leg is doing. The top leg is 1200 minus 1185. That's plus 15, right?
Yep.
And the second leg is 1180 minus 1180 is 765.
Yeah.
That's minus
so what
15.
You're doing it.
You are a zero.
So ultimately, see my fingers? You're setting up a strategy in which you're trading in a certain range, both on the upside and the downside. You know what I mean? To hedge yourself, because you're not totally sure, is it going to blast up or is it going to blast down? Depending on which way it goes, though, with the whole system in place, you'll be able to ultimately benefit, provided you have that right range to begin with.
You can adjust this to whatever your risk tolerance is. I can open the window. I can open the window. I can adjust the quantities. I can adjust all of these parameters and take on as much risk for gain or reduce my gain for less risk. I have all the, you can play with those numbers. And me, because I know that I have no idea what's going to happen on April 12th, I choose to have a balanced butterfly, like 15 and 15 or 10 and 10 or 5 and 5. Because the problem is if I'm wrong, really wrong, and it goes against me and I have one leg that's 20 and another leg that's 10, then that opens me up to additional losses. It means additional gains if I'm right, but I don't want the losses. Remember what we talked about? I look at losses first. And then once I know what my losses are and my cost is, then I say, okay, how much do I want to make with this risk?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is Fidelity telling you? What is Fidelity telling you for the risk reward on this one? I'll take a guess. Fidelity is telling you, well, the max gain is we know is $1,500 minus the premium that you're paying. So I'm just curious, what is Fidelity saying there?
Max gain, I already ran the numbers. Max gain is 1385.
So that means it's 115. That means it's $115 risk.
Yeah, total debit is 117.60. It's 115 to your point, plus a $2.60 trading fee.
Yeah.
So, you were right. $1,500 minus
115.
Yeah, 115 exactly.
So the thing. Yeah. So I mean, the bottom line is like when you put in
it's a 12 to 1.
When you put in a naked put or a naked call, what I learned from myself is I'm thinking, all right, baby, I'm going to make $10,000 with this trade, blah, 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 blah. But in reality, when I get into those trades, I usually close them after I make X amount of money on it because I don't want to lose what I've gained, right?
That's what I do.
Or I'll have multiple contracts and I'll step them out. So what I find that this works really well on is number one, it has a forced sell there, right? It forces me it's like it's going to basically take profits at $1,500. So I don't have to be thinking, do I sell? Do I hold? Right? I mean, and the risk to reward is pretty good.
The risk to reward's 12-1, which is excellent in my opinion. And I guess it helps you sleep at night, because if you let this go to expiration, right? And what it's telling you is if you go to expiration, the max you can lose is $115, which is what you paid for it.
Which is, let's face it, I mean, and if you trade, you're going to lose money sometimes, but knowing that you're not going to lose your house because of a bad trade, there's some comfort in that. Like I'm watching that movie that I sent you the link on that GameStop. And I mean, imagine being naked short on GameStop when it was climbing up to like 100, 200, 300, 400. I mean, forget about it. I mean,
somebody was telling me about that. Was it you or who?
No, I sent you a link to the movie.
Yeah, no, I saw the link to the movie. Yeah, I did. But I was discussing it last night too. We went to a birthday party. The Air Force guy, I told you, a friend
the guy who took
here.
The jab.
Yep. He was discussing the GameStop movie.
Well, isn't that a coincidence? Wow.
Isn't that something? Yeah.
Yeah.
He brought it up to me last night.
That's like the Matrix, man. That's the Matrix.
Well, it's funny. You send me the thing, and then he brings it up to me. So what is I'm the first one to admit, dude, what is the universe telling me? Because God's always trying to help me, but he knows I have sometimes a thick Italian head and it's not getting through.
He's saying, Dan, buy GameStop.
Like,
Dan,
exactly.
buy GameStop. Sell your house and buy GameStop.
There's so many times where he's flashed big neon signs in front of my fat head, and I'm like, huh?
I know, it's like, hey God, an email would be nice, or a text.
I know he has a sense of humor, at least with me, because I know he says at times, Dan, I love you, but you're a dumbbell sometimes. You're a dumbbell. I love you, but you're a dumbbell.
No, I wouldn't say a dumbbell. I mean, you just let fear stop you in your tracks sometimes.
I do. No, I do. Admittedly. Yeah. No, I fight it like the next person, man. I'm not immune. Absolutely, man.
That's human nature, man. But anyways, let's not go there. So what were you? So you were telling a story about the Air Force guy. So
no, he just. I'm gonna watch the movie because you sent it to me.
Well, I haven't watched it yet, so I don't think it's as good as like The Big Short.
But what blew my mind is he brought it up last night, and I'm like, wait a minute, didn't Dave send me something about that? Yeah. And then he's talking about GameStop and the movie and how the guy initially put 50 G's in. The guy was a trader or something, by the way.
No, he's from Brockton, Massachusetts.
I knew that.
And he's worked for Massachusetts Insurance. You'll know the insurance company because you work for an insurance. He worked for an insurance company.
Mass Mutual, I'll bet.
Yeah.
Yes, I know Mass Mutual.
It's in the movie. Yeah.
I'm going to watch it. Yeah, but he had an inside track to an extent, from what I understand.
And it was only 3 years ago. So they turned this story around. Bam, bam, bam. And, when I've only watched an hour of it or 45 minutes of it, and I just kept thinking, because this happened at the same time that First Majestic squeezed. The Wall Street guys were doing the same thing.
I remember you and I were getting crushed with First Majestic, and this thing was going.
No, First Majestic went to $30.
Well, for about 39
seconds, yeah.
Dude, I was looking at the screen when it did this, literally looking at the screen. It went boom and boom like that. Boom, boom, and that was it. Literally like that. And it never went.
Well, you'll see these characters in the movie, I'm like, they just had dumb luck. And I'm like, I can tell you right now, in all the years I've traded, I've never had this dumb luck. Well, never.
I don't believe it was total dumb luck. I think there was a certain amount of educated, calculated guess on their part. But what I will say is that was very minimal, in my opinion. And I think they knew it too.
No, there was no. You when you watch the movie, what happened is the guy in Brockton, he started a YouTube channel or a Twitter page or something like that, and he's the one who started the rally with Wall Street's Silver or Wall Street Bets, and then all these other
How the hell did
young.
he do that? How does a guy in Brockton start a effing rally?
I'm still watching it, but bottom line is what happens is at night, all these people, these GameStop, these Robin Hoodies. Remember the Robin Hoodies? Robin Hood started all these Robin Hoodies were looking for the next crypto, and so they jumped onto the story of it's us against the man, it's us against the man. So everybody started buying GameStop. And remember diamond hands? Remember that stupid saying? Yeah, diamond hands until they don't. Well, I haven't watched the whole movie, but I can tell you, this guy, at this point in the movie where I turned it off, he turned 50 grand into 11 million.
I thought it was 20 or 30 million when he was done.
Well, like I said, I haven't watched the movie. And he's in the car. They had just gone to see his sister's grave. And he's driving home with his wife. And the brother calls, "Are you going to sell? I need a car." And the brother's like, "No, I think I'm going to let it ride." And the brother's like, "Are you insane?" And the wife's like, "Yeah, we should let it ride." And I'm like, ah! It's like us when we didn't know any better. People always take money off the table, even if it's half. Take 5 million off. Let 5 million ride.
Yeah, I can honestly tell you, if I was up 11 million, I would have taken, absolutely would have taken 2 or 3 off the table, at least.
At least half, Dan.
At least. I'm saying.
Worst case scenario, you have $5 million in the bank.
Dude, I totally agree. I'm just saying, let's say I was a bonehead. I'm still taking something off the table, even if it's 2 or 3 million. Right? I mean, 2 or 3 million still ain't bad either. But to your point,
would you be able to live with yourself if that balance went to like 59 cents and you're like, wow, we had 11 and I ended up with 2.5. I mean, yeah, it's nice, but 5 would have been nicer.
No,
and 11.
No. If you have 5 million, even these days with the crazy stuff going on, the inflation and all that, as long as you're not a complete bonehead with money and going out and buying skyscrapers, you're going to be fine.
Yeah, if you lived a normal lifestyle, even if you just traveled the rest of your life, you're not going to burn through 5 million. No way.
No, not unless you're
unless you get sick.
That or you're buying, when you're out, you're buying $10,000 bottles of wine at some club trying to impress people you don't know.
Once in a while. Yeah. Well, this guy was married, so I mean, this guy was married and had a baby, so I don't think they're going to be.
No. He was a regular guy, and even somebody like you or me that are, frugal New Englanders, we're not going to piss through that. At the very least, we might put it in a CD at 4 or 5%.
Yeah, I could live off that interest. If the interest was the current rates, I could make it on that. 5 million at 4%.
200 G's a year.
Yeah.
200 G's. Yeah, you'd be very comfortable on 200 G's. You wouldn't have to lift the finger again in terms of working and the rat race. Be all set.
Well, you'd be able to work just doing whatever you wanted to do.
You beat me to it. I mean, I personally would still work, probably part-time, just to be, semi-productive.
No, like you said, you'd become a full-time preacher or something,
Well, see, you beat me to it. If I was independently
you'd actually be able to help people. Yeah.
Well, you beat me to it. If I was independently wealthy tomorrow, I would absolutely be evangelizing or part-time, at the very least, a part-time pastor, at least 20 hours a week, giving it to the church at least 20 hours a week
Yeah,
besides Sundays.
I think you'd be doing. I think you'd do well at that.
I absolutely would be doing it.
Yeah.
The only
Can you
reason why I don't
compare the
that-
two of us? If we were like co-pastors, they'd want to see you because I'd be like, listen, boy.
what we have here is failure to communicate. Some man you just can't get to. Well, he wants it, so he gets it.
Yeah. We're going to have you talk to Pastor Dave.
Anybody remember Cool Hand Luke, Paul Newman?
Oh, yeah.
1962, I believe. Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
Great movie.
So what were we talking about before we got sidetracked there? We had a spread up, didn't we?
GameStop, and then I took a screenshot of this one as well.
Well, I wanted to show you that. I wanted to show you something else that I do. So
well, Dave,
what are the numbers? What are the numbers what are the numbers it's giving you on Avgo again? I forget.
Yeah.
130 bucks.
Max gain 1385, max loss 115, estimated debit is 117.60.
Okay. Now, just see, this is what I'm talking. I paid $57 for that trade.
Wow.
Not 130 something.
With the same strikes and everything in expiration? Right? Yeah.
Remember, you probably are tired of it, but you know how many times I've sent you texts saying low risk, high reward, low risk, high reward when I talk about my trades to you? This is what I call that. This is a low risk, high reward.
No, I get it. And, because to your point from here, for example, from March 4th, starting tomorrow, Monday trading day to April 12th, this locks you in terms of, exactly what to expect. And, because otherwise, you could lose 200, 500, $1,000 easy.
Avgo was up $100 on Friday.
I know. I saw it. Oh, guess what popped overnight, by the way?
If it dropped.
Dude.
Yeah. It's up to, it's at $1,400, I think.
Guess what popped overnight on Friday night? $113 at night.
I know. Yeah, SMCI.
It's at 1,019. In 4 hours after market trading, it $100.
Yeah, well, guess.
You believe?
Well, guess what?
I have a current.
I
have a current call in place on it. Good. That's really good. You have a call? We'll see what happens. No, with my luck, what's going to happen is.
What strike?
1,019.
Yeah, I actually see. This is realistically. This is what I think. I think it's gonna double top at 1,100.
I can't say you're wrong.
And so I entered an order for. This is what I entered for SMCI. So basically, the reason I just went over that with Avgo with you is you don't have to enter the price that Fidelity or whoever gives you. You can enter the price that you feel comfortable paying. And many times, if I don't see, I want this to be a low cost option so that.
No, I get that. No, you've made that abundantly clear. Totally. With these two examples. Totally.
So I entered two contracts. I got two contracts for less than they want one contract for. Because I paid $57.
Absolutely, yeah, $57. You're going to lose $57.
Well, God. I don't want to lose $57, Dan. But you have to. And with these high flyers,
but your upside. Your upside on the 57 is what, $700 or something?
Well, what you tell me? I don't even remember what the strikes are at now because I don't have the page open. What are the strikes? It's $1,500 per contract. So it's I'm betting $50 to make 1,500.
Exactly. That's phenomenal.
So if I get 1/4 of that, I'll make 5 times my money.
Absolutely.
And if I am completely wrong, I don't lose my account. I lose $57. That's the type of security I like. Okay, you talked about SMCI. I have an order in-house right now. If you go to SMCI, dude, I'll show you what I entered. Now SMCI is all over the place. So Monday, you want orders in the system before Monday open, because when they recalibrate, you got a chance of getting a crazy price. Now, you can't place it 99% out of where you want to pay, but you might get a 25, 50% discount, right?
Well, I'm already in the system. I'm already in the middle of a trade with a
Well, you
call.
can enter another
1,500 strike.
Okay, so if you call up SMCI and then you can enter a butterfly here and I'll give you the numbers. So the nice thing about Fidelity, if you choose butterfly, it will give you the 3 legs automatically.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like, I understand the formation and how to put the structure together. The hard thing is, how do you know what initial expiration and strike to choose?
Well, the strike is not hard. The strike, you're going basically 2 things. You're going based on 2 things. Number one, what the chart tells you. Like, for example, I'm not going to say, well, if SMCI goes to $300 by next month, then I'll make $1 million, because I mean, it's not going to $300 next month, most likely. That is a very low probability.
Yeah, there's a gap at 338 to be filled, but to your point, it would have to like plunge straight down.
Yeah, would have to have a COVID situation, which could happen. I mean, we could have a banking crisis next week that we have a repeat of 2020. Could. And there are people right now who are placing bets. I mean, you could get a butterfly order, Dan, for probably $20 to capture $10,000, right? If you go that far out of money. But you see, this is what I'm saying. It's all the risk and probability. I mean, your delta, like for example, see the thing about Fidelity doesn't show delta on the screen, does it?
Oh, you mean when you're setting the trade?
The strike. When you set a strike. See, that's the thing I like about Schwab. Schwab sets a delta, Fidelity doesn't. Because a delta, I mean, is technically a lot of people use the delta as the percentage of chance that it hits that strike at your expiration. That's why in the money is typically a 0.5 delta. Because it could go, 50% chance it could go up, 50% chance it could go down, right?
Exactly. Yep. No, I get that.
So you're choosing a delta of 0.01. It means you've got a 1% chance it's coming to you. Now, the nice thing about a butterfly in these trades, the strike does not have to get to us for us to make money. It just has to move in our direction.
I understand.
Because it raises the premium. Because our premium paid is so low compared to a naked option, it just has to move our way.
So let me ask you this dumb question. In lieu of Monday morning coming, what would you do with SMCI? I mean,
I have an order in-house for it right now.
And what's your order? Is it a butterfly or what is it?
Yeah, it's a butterfly. Here, enter it into your system so you can see what I have. Call up SMCI and select
I did.
butterfly. Okay.
Buy
Yeah,
to
the first.
open.
Yep. First one is a buy to open $600 put for April 19th.
Okay, April 19th, strike price.
600.
Now, why'd you choose 600?
Because when I looked at the chart,
Got it. You did
if
say that before.
SMCI just 4 days ago, Dan, was at $700.
I know that. So I see a gap to be filled if it were to fall. I see a gap at 873, 820. I see a gap going as low as 334. I see another gap, to your point, at 770.
Dan,
770.
this is just my opinion, because you know how double tops work. If this thing stalls out at 1100 and falls below, and it drops, because it dropped $200 last week,
Absolutely, bro. I was watching it the whole time.
and then it bounced another 100. So I mean, this thing, I'm only choosing, $600 for April 19th is not too crazy.
No, not the way this moves.
Okay, so 600 is your first leg. Second leg is 550.
Yeah, but hold on now. I'm just, before I punch that in, I'm looking at the 6-month chart on SMCI.
Yeah.
Bitch, where to go? And from where it's at now, if this falls, like I said, I see a gap at 873, 820. Next gap, I see it around 775, right? After 775, I don't see a gap, dude, at least on the 6-month chart, until all the way down to 334.
I don't care about gaps. I'm looking at pivots. And back on.
Well, eventually gaps get filled. You know that, whether it's up or down.
Yeah, I get that. But the way this is the way I looked at it. If you enter these numbers, I'll explain it to you. Okay. So go with a 600, 550, and 500 butterfly.
Okay. That's fine. I just.
Well, what does Fidelity tell you? What does Fidelity give you for numbers?
All right, so a 600
550, 500. Now this is a butterfly.
This is a sell to open. Quantity of one, put April 19th.
No, select butterfly from the options up above on Fidelity. It will automatically give you the 3 legs, and it will structure it.
Got it. Yep, you're right. Got it. Buy to open, quantity of one. We got a put?
Yeah, put April 19th, 600, 550, 500.
All right, 600, 550.
The nice thing is all you got to do is just plug in a couple things and it's done.
Yeah, no, I agree with you totally. Yeah, that makes life easier. You know what's funny? I just structured it April 19th, buy to open 600, sell to open 550, buy to open 500, right?
No. It should be buy 1 contract, sell to open 2 contracts, buy to open 1 contract.
That's what it did for me automatically. It gave me a 1-2-1.
Yeah, it's a nice feature.
That is a nice feature. Very nice. So now here's the numbers. Oh my God, you won't believe the numbers.
I already know the numbers.
They're massive.
Yeah.
Maximum gain upside is 4,845.
Yep.
Right?
Per contract.
Maximum what?
Per contract.
Yeah. Per contract?
Well, we have one set of contracts. I could make this a quantity of 2, 5, 10, 20, 100.
Well, let me ask you this. Does the 1-2-1, in order to be a butterfly, the 1-2-1, the ratio's always got to check out. So I could go like a 2-4-2, right? Or a 4-8-4, right?
Well, if you want a symmetrical butterfly, you tell me. You tell me. What happens is if you have an odd leg in there, what happens?
Well, then it's skewed. It's either leaning
One
towards
way or
the
the other.
upside or the
Yeah,
downside.
and that's the next thing I was going to show you. Increases your risk, decreases your upfront cost, usually.
So the payout here is only 31 to 1, Dave. That's pretty poor.
What does it say the max loss is?
$155.
Yeah. And I've been trying to get this for $50.
Yeah. So right now this would cost me 157.
Yeah. Now here's the other game that you can play, Dan.
Actually, sorry to interrupt. If I choose the low point, the net bid versus the ask, I could make a bid for 72.60.
You can make a bid for whatever you want. You don't have to take their numbers.
No. I get it.
That's what I'm saying, Dan. When this thing opens on Monday, the market maker is going to be, you can get anything you want, potentially, reasonable.
Mm-hmm. It goes to 70 to 1 if I choose the minimum bid at 70 cents.
Yeah.
Max gain now is 49.30 versus a loss of just 70 bucks.
So how do I pick numbers? I pick numbers by looking at where I think it could reasonably go to without overpaying for premium. For example, if you change those numbers, Dan, where do you say the gap above was? 750?
Sorry.
Yeah. That will post on your Tinder channel. Or
Guys,
not Tinder, only boys. Your only boys channel.
I don't have either, you insulted. No, but yeah, no, dude, it's amazing when you play around with the numbers, the different.
Well, no, I want to show one. So if you look at the chart, okay, so that's because I mean, I could go more in the money. Let me get my chart here. So let's say on February 21st, there was a low of $708, right?
Yes, correct.
And
708.
February 20th was 692.
692.50.
So now change that butterfly, move it up $100. 700, 650, 600.
Oh, I see what you mean. Interesting.
Well, you'll see the difference in a minute. Why I didn't do that one.
650. 700, 650, and 550?
Yeah, you're just going up $100.
Yeah, 600, I mean.
You remember that game on The Price is Right when you had to guess the price and it had to be in that window?
Oh, yeah. So I'm at 700, 650, and 600, right?
Right. It should be the same maximum outpour, like it's a $5,000 payout minus, but the premium is going to be much more. It's not $100 anymore.
No, you're right. The max gain is 46.70. Max loss is 330.
So it's double.
Exactly. So we go from all the way from 30 to 1, drop back to 14 to 1. Which is still good.
Well, the other thing that this works very well.
I'd rather pay the 117 versus 332 or whatever it was.
Well, this works very well when you see, this is where I sometimes use it. When you start to see something take off in one direction or another, you can put one of these in front of the train. And, you could put this, like, let's say on the day that SMCI was $700, we put one of these at $1,000. It would have run right into us. And the same thing now, if this thing rolls over.
Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, if this thing rolls over, it will fall right into our net.
Right. But let's say you set it up for a rollover, but it goes the opposite direction, that could happen.
I mean, we've already articulated that it's quite possible that SMCI could very possibly go down to $600 by April 19th.
Dude, I mean, I argue by April 19th, it's possible it could go to fill the gap as low as 335.
I do not disagree with you, but that would be in the same direction.
Right.
Now, the reason I like the reason I like the condors instead of the butterflies, the two separate legs that are slightly separated, is because the other thing that you can do is you can, like I said, they decay differently then because they're separated, and you can also roll one. You can roll one and leave the other one in place. You can still do that with a butterfly, but it's cheaper when they're separated.
That's what I was going to ask you with the butterfly, the traditional butterfly structure that we have in place. Do you ever?
Oh yeah,
once it's in place, do you got to close the whole thing out, or can you break off a leg?
No, you can do anything you want. You could close one leg, but it affects everything else. It throws off the balance, right?
Exactly.
But I have broken up butterflies before where I saw the thing coming, and if you wait till the day it's on you, it's going to be too expensive. So if I see it moving, I will try to roll it for a credit. If I can roll something for a credit, then there's no downside to rolling it.
I agree.
I mean, well, there is downside. The downside is the
downside is even though you got a credit, it keeps going against you.
Yeah. So, I mean, the time versus premium thing, that's again, all of this is a trade-off, right? And
it's a constant balancing act as you move. Look at my hands. As you progress through time like this,
yeah,
you're constantly having to balance as you progress through time.
Yeah, and as you get close,
it's not static. You're doing this constantly, right?
Yeah, and as you get closer to expiration, it becomes to be, we will have a better idea on April 18th if this order is going to be even close to being accurate or not compared to today.
Of course.
And so that's where the time premium comes in.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you can roll it, and the day after you roll it, it goes exactly where you wanted it, but too bad for you. You've got all that extra time premium now.
Right, exactly. I've been there before.
Okay, so one last thing I want to show you, that this is the trading method that I've been using that I'm 100% success rate on. And this does not work in a high volatile market. A little bit of volatility is okay. And this is why I've been using it on the IWM.
Live long and prosper.
You can't always get what you want. You can't always get